recipe is cabbage and beans, and it's a traditional, it was a staple in our home, but it was also traditional Christmas Eve. It was part of our Christmas Eve menu always. It has a very special meaning for me because it was actually the last conversation that I had with my dad. My dad passed away in 2001 on Christmas morning, and I was unable to go to Texas to be with the family because of my job, and also because I had sprained my ankle. Actually, I fractured my foot. And so I had all the stuff, so I thought to make this dish and talk to my dad on Christmas Eve. My dad was hard of hearing. This conversation, there was no repeating, nothing. It was really pretty amazing. And he said, so what are you making? What are you going to make tonight? You know, because I was by myself and the whole family was in Texas. And I said, oh, I'm going to make the cabbage and beans. And I got all the stuff and I went through the list, and he's like, and I forgot the anchovies. And he said, what about the anchovy? What? And so that like ruined my whole cabbage and beans. So I never have forgotten those anchovies since. But anyway, so this is really a very simple dish. It's like a peasant dish from my family's roots. So the way we started, I'll go real quickly through this, is just a pan. I had some oil in this, but I took it out to show you. I have 2 cans of anchovies. These are important with the oil. And this right here is going to go right in there, right? And that is going to go on the stove now. And I'm going to just break that up a little, because you're not even going to know, other than the amazing flavor this dish has. See that? Those were like little anchovy fillets. And the second this hits the heat, it's going to start to melt them. And they're going to dissolve right into the oil, because I'm going to be adding more oil to this. I'm making it ahead of time because we've got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. And this actually is a dish that is so much better the next day. And we use Savoy cabbage. Savoy is a lot milder than a type of cabbage than the other cabbage. And this is the one my parents always used. And I'm going to break that up, put it in my pot of water. I've got 2 of them here. We also use cannellini beans. And I think it's a 29-ounce can of cannellini beans there. And when those anchovies start to dissolve a little, I'm going to add the oil. And then I'm going to add some garlic, but I'm going to show you what I do with the garlic. So before I cut this, I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the garlic. My mother takes it and we do a little slit. Just make a little slit we keep the skin on and do a slit in it right there, right? I have a whole head of garlic right here. And I'm going to actually do both of them because I'm making the garlic for 2 dishes. I'm doing it for the cabbage and beans, and I'm also doing it for the pasta caloia. And that's it. I'll just go through all of these and I'll slice them just a little. And I'll come back later once they're cooked and I'll show you what it looks like. But when my mother made the pasta with the olive oil and the garlic, she would leave these in the skin in the dish. She'd mix the pasta together with the olive oil and the garlic. And we would like go in there and try to get them, because then you pop them out into your mouth. It's the most delicious roasted garlic, and it'll be roasted in that oil with the anchovies. And then I'm going to put a pepper in, just a red pepper, just to give it a little bit of an extra zoomph. I'll show you how I cut this. That's it, really. This one doesn't have much, so I'm going to just get that, because you want some of it to kind of stay together. There we go. And this is my water. It's right in there. This one doesn't have anything. This one's got a little bit more here. Now I'm going to go up a little more. There we go. We want to get all that Savoy goodness, and that one doesn't have much either. I'm going to do the same thing to this other half, and we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like with the anchovies. oil and some oil in here. I might have to adjust the amount of oil. I may have need to add some more. But right now, all I'm doing is trying to cook the garlic. And here's all the garlic. Obviously, you want to be very careful when you put it in. You probably ought to use a slotted spoon or something. I'm doing this for your benefit because I don't want anybody doing this with their hands. And always when you put stuff in, you should actually put it in away from you so it doesn't splash up. And you don't want to dump this in there like that. There, get rid of that. Get the last of these little garlic cloves in there. We love our garlic. Now we don't want these to burn, but we do want them to cook because we want that garlic inside there to get nice and soft and roasted. So I have cooked cooked the garlic. Whoop, you see that came right out? When I lifted that up, that skin up, that came right out. Look at that. This is the oil with the anchovies in the bottom. Now I'm going to probably be adding more oil to this, but I'm just showing you I'm taking out the rest of this in here. And some of that, those anchovies are coming out with it, which is fine because it's all going to go back in that. And what I'm going to do now is just strain this. So let's see. Let's see how this is going to work. Oh, I should be doing it the other way so you can see what I'm doing. But I want to make sure I get out all of the skin from the garlic. But I don't want to lose my anchovies. And I just see one piece of skin in there, which I'm taking out. The rest is good anchovies. And so I am going to now make sure that I'm not missing any skin. There we go. Nope, that's all good. That's all good anchovy. So that's going in there. And I'm going to be putting that in some oil to get the rest of it. Actually, what I can do, now that I got it all out of the pan, is put it back in the pan. And do that. Get the rest of the anchovy out of there. There we go. So now what I do with this, but I'm going to use this pan, this thing to put it in. There's the garlic. And where I slit it, now they come right out. Now this is kind of hot to handle, so you want to make sure this is cool to do that. Oh, as I'm lifting them up though, this is like perfect. More anchovy, which I want in there. But where I made that little slit, they come right out. That is like so sweet and delicious. There were two heads of garlic in this. And I'm going to separate this, put some of this aside because I don't have another head of fresh garlic. But I can always, if you want to take an easy way, you can buy that fresh store-bought garlic and you slice it and you can cook it in the oil, but you have to be very careful because it doesn't have the skin to protect it, so it will burn. So you need to watch that very, very closely if you want to roast it. Or you have like a clay pot, you can put it in the pot and roast it that way and then just add it to the oil. But here we go. Look at that. There's a skin right there, and this is going to come right out, and you just discard all that skin. That all goes away. Anything that has any anchovies is going to stay. Here's another one. Look at that. And this is beautiful. It's hot, but it's beautiful. Right now it's hot because I'm doing it when it's hot. And here's a lot of anchovies on it. I'm just going to leave that just like that right there. You can obviously wait to do this when it's, and if there's a little of that end of the garlic, you can just pull that right off. It comes right off. I'd recommend that you wait to get it cool, but I do this often, so my hands are used to it. I'm used to doing this, going in here and getting that garlic out nice and hot, right, fresh from the oil. Actually, the oil had stopped for a while, so it wasn't immediately from the oil, because that I couldn't do. And see, there's like a little bit of that end of the garlic. I'm taking that right off there. But that's all you do. So, and I'm making this for tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is do this. I'll probably take a few of these out and put them aside for my pasta caloi. And then I'm going to, tomorrow, I'm going to be putting this in the olive oil with the garlic and heat it up. And then I'm going to put the cannellini beans in there. I'll put it in a bigger pot so that it all kind of gets heated and marries together. And my cabbage is still cooking over here. It's not completely ready, but it's close. And I'm not going to completely cook it tonight. I just want probably going to turn off. Reheat the oil with a little bit of this. I need to make sure it doesn't burn, and put the beans in it. I may actually even do that tonight, and then just mix it all together and put it in the fridge and leave it alone. And then tomorrow it's just a matter of reheating my cabbage and beans, but I need to make sure the cabbage and beans are cooked to the point where we want to eat them. So I'll have to check that before I do that. And that is the cabbage and beans. Tomorrow I'll be making, John's actually already made some pasta. I'll show you that. We've got some beautiful fresh pasta in here that he made earlier today. Look at that gorgeous pasta. So this pasta tomorrow will get made into spaghetti, and we may use my dad's chitarra, which is like a little guitar, right? It has strings on it, to make the pasta. I'm not sure whether we're going to use pasta machine, going to roll it or cut it by hand, or use the chitarra. But if we do use the chitarra, I'll do a quick little video so you can see what it looks like when we do them. We did it with my sister when we were in Texas. We used the chitarra that my grandnephew, her grandson, bought for her in Italy. And we're going to make that because we'll make the pasta with the oil tomorrow. Some of this, we have some more in there, which we'll make for ourselves. And we're doing this now is going to be for Christmas Day. So we'll be making spaghetti for Christmas Day and getting the pasta ready and put that aside. And then tomorrow we'll do our baked stuffed shrimp, and we'll do I'm going to do baked stuffed haddock, and we're going to do some scallops. We're going to sear some scallops. So we're going to have, we're not doing any bacalao or any of the other traditional stuff that we do, but we'll be doing that tomorrow. And actually I'm going to make, I don't know if there was a wonderful restaurant in this area. It was called Bishop's, and they made the best. And now there's another restaurant called the Phoenician, and they make that same walnut delicious stuffing. I don't put all the stuff, but they published it in the newspaper one time. So I usually use that for my traditional Christmas Eve stuffing for my shrimp and for any fish. So the cabbage is done. And what I've done is I've put it into one Tupperware bowl that's going to go in the fridge, and then another one, because we're saving some for Christmas Day, and we're having some Christmas Eve. I'm not throwing away the water yet, because I may need some water to add some water to this. So I'm just going to put that on the back burner, and I'm going to move over to this. And this is the oil with the anchovy still on the bottom. I took a red pepper and I just tore it in half and put it in there. And then I have my cannellini beans. But before I do that, I just want to mix this up here. There we go. Because I want to marry all this now. And the last thing I'm going to do is take care of those garlic that we just peeled. Now these cannellini beans have been washed. I'm just going to put them in that oil. Look at that. Now take a look at this. Here we go. And I have the heat on low. Oh, that looks so good. There we go. And I'm going to put these in there now. And get all that rest of that nice anchovy goodness that's in there in that pan. There we go. Now this has been cooking for a while. I just want to kind of heat up those beans because we're not. So I'm going to put some of this in here. And I want some of that in this second one because I'm kind of like doing two dishes almost at once. There we go. Let's get some of those beans in this one. And we're going to get the rest in here. Let's put a few more beans in this. Look at that. Now all the anchovy is kind of dissipated into that. And now I'm just going to mix it up. Probably have it in the wrong vessel here to really give it a good mix, but that's okay because I'm going to be letting this sit on the counter and cool, and then I'm putting it into the fridge. But I think I'm going to need a little more liquid in this. Probably could use a little more olive oil, but I'll be able to tell that tomorrow when I'm putting this all together. But I wanted you to kind of see what the finished product is. Now you can have some of this right now because it's basically ready. It is so delicious, so good. Now it needs some salt, but I'll put some salt in tomorrow. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of cabbage water and put a little bit in here. There we go. Just another. There we go. Oh, that smells so good. And I think I need a little bit more there. Now tomorrow I may add a little more olive oil. But you want to take a picture of that. It's not in a really nice plate right now because it's not being served. But I'm prepping. I'm prepping so I have stuff ready for tomorrow.